snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so this is going to be part 2 of me answering all the questions that you guys left me. I'll put a link to part 1 down below so you can go and check that out if you want to. And let's get started. First off, I have a question from James. What was your favourite book as a child? I loved the Beatrix Potter books when I was younger. I had the entire collection of the Beatrix Potter books and I thought they were lovely and awesome and I would read them with my mum. Would you rather fight one Casa Oolong sized mouse or 20 mouse-sized Casa Oolongs? I think 20 mouse-sized Casa Oolongs would be pretty brutal, whereas I think one giant Casa Oolong mouse would not be as bad. I don't know. It would probably be gigantic because Casa Oolong is a character from Malazan and he is pretty ridiculously big and badass. And I don't think I'd want to fight any of them. I mean, I suppose you could probably run away from the little mice-sized Casa Oolongs, but even so, I don't know. I wouldn't want to fight any of them because I'd probably lose to either. I'm not very good at fighting. I've never really tried, but I can't imagine I would be very good at it. I don't have any, martial arts training or anything, so I'd probably just run away. Mose Reeds asks, what hobbies do you have that are not related to books and booktubing? I don't have a lot of hobbies outside of it. I mean, I draw, but that's part of my course, so not a lot. I don't really do a lot. I mean, I meet up with my friends and I like going to the cinema and I like watching TV shows and YouTube, but I honestly don't have a lot of other hobbies. I really like sewing. It's something I don't do very much, but I really enjoy, like a good cross stitch. But I don't have a lot of hobbies that I do on a regular basis outside of BookTube. Mostly I just spend my time reading. Katie Loves to Read asks, are you planning to do a postgraduate study after you finish uni, or are you planning to go straight into full-time work? I am probably going to try and go straight into full-time work because usually for graphic design you don't need to do a master's. It's not something you have to do, and I ideally would like to go into publishing and illustration. That's sort of the niche that I really want to go into. So you don't really need a master's for it, but I may well come back and do a master's or a PhD at some point. I have no idea. Just depends how everything plays out and whether or not I can get a full-time job. So it's very much, we'll just see what happens. I'm open to either option, but at the moment I'm thinking I want to go straight into full-time work if I can. And then she also asks, what are some of your favourite underrated or unconventional books that you think should have more recognition? One thing I've learned from doing my research for my dissertation is that concept art books and things like that are so beautiful and so entrancing. I have the Harry Potter Page to Screen book, which I adore. I loved it. I cried about 5 times whilst reading it. And then I also got a lot of the Hobbit books, which I showed in my dissertation hall, and Lord of the Rings books. And I just think they are stunning. So I would definitely say that concept art books and artist books and non-fiction books are really underrated, but so worth buying if you can just stretch the pennies a little bit and save, because they are expensive. I get that, they are expensive. I definitely think they're expensive. I have had to buy a lot of them recently, so I know, but they are so worth it. In terms of authors that I think are underrated, I think that J.B. Jones is definitely underrated. I think she is an author who so many more people should read because she's just exceptional. I think a lot of the books that I have read recently that were underrated are getting more and more hype on BookTube because of the amount of people I've been reading them with. A lot of the time I've been doing buddy reads, and that means that lots of people are reviewing these books at a similar sort of time. So it means a lot more people are picking up the books as they see it on different people's channels. So there's probably more, I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now. David Quinton asks, have you finished A Memory of Light yet, and will you be getting the Wheel of Time companion? Yes, I finished A Memory of Light a little while ago. I've done a Wheel of Time discussion of all of the series. I'll put it down below. And will I be getting the companion? I don't know if I will buy it or not, I'm not sure. I'm kind of taking a break from Wheel of Time because it's been on my ongoing for 3 years. So now that I've finished it, I wanted to step away from it for a while, finish up Malazan, and then come back to read New Spring and possibly get that one at some point, I'm not sure. He also says, what is your favourite fantasy series ever? That is impossible to choose because I like series for different reasons. I would have to say that probably my favourite fantasy series I've read in the last year is the Live Ships by Robin Hobb, which is, I gave everyone 5 out of 5 stars and they are just incredible, incredible. I love them. T. Jackson said, I believe that you live in London and are going to college or uni. That is correct. I actually live in Nottingham whilst I'm going to uni because my university is Nottingham Trent, so that's where I go. But I do live very close to London and in London when I'm not at university because my family lives about an hour outside of London and then my dad actually lives in London. So I'm usually in and around London when I'm not at university, and once I finish uni I will be going back to London to hopefully live there. He also then asks, do you want to be a writer? I mean, I dream about being a writer in that it's a nice idea, but I've never really committed to writing anything. I think it would be nice to do like articles. I think that could be fun. I don't know if I could sit down and write an entire book. I think it would be one of those things that I always think, oh, it would be nice to do, but I don't think I will ever do it. I would love to publish a graphic novel. I think that would be amazing. So that's something I'd love to do in the future. What TV shows and films do I like? I do really like going to the cinema to see films. We recently went to see The Martian. It was very good. I do really enjoy going to the cinema just generally and getting popcorn, sweet popcorn. I don't like scary films because they freak me out. I'm a bit of a wuss. I don't like scary books or films. TV shows, I've been watching a lot of TV shows recently because I got Netflix a couple months ago, so I've been making use of it. I've been watching Nikita, which is kind of an old one, and House MD is something that Shane and I always watch, that me and my boyfriend always watch. Dance Mums. I like a lot of reality TV because I can watch reality TV whilst I'm doing my work, which means I don't have to focus so much on it, whereas dramas and action TV, I have to actually focus to watch it, so I can't really do my work. So I do watch a lot of really crappy reality TV, but I love it. It's like a guilty pleasure. It's just so much fun. Firefly, the TV show that was cancelled years ago, but I love it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on Netflix and a lot of good stuff just generally on TV at the moment, but I don't have a TV, so I just have to watch everything on Netflix because I'm a student and I don't want to get a TV because that would be too pricey right now, so Netflix is my go-to. I think you mentioned that you have a significant other at some point. My question is, do they read as well? Do they have similar taste in books? And how would you feel about that? Yes, I have a significant other. He is called Shane. I've been going out with him since I was 15. I'm now 21, so we've been going out for 5.5 years, which is quite a long time. He does read now. He didn't read when I first got with him, but he does read now because he's discovered audiobooks and he loves audiobooks. He doesn't really like sort of picking up books and reading them, so he tends to only listen to audiobooks. He's one of those people, which is fine because I tend to just read books and then say, you must get this book, and he will get it on audiobook and listen to it. And he reads fantasy as well. He's definitely got exactly the same taste as me. His favourite authors are like Patrick Rothfuss, he really loves, and Sanderson, he really loves. But there are others as well who are really good. I'm currently making him read Robin Hobb, so I'm sure that he's going to love her very, very soon because she is amazing. We can chat more about books now that he is listening to audiobooks, so I'm definitely very grateful to Audible for getting him into reading again because it means that we can have a lot more cool discussions about books, so I love that. A Hermit's Progress asks, would you rather be a dragon, be a phoenix, or own a dragon or own a phoenix? I want to be a dragon. I think I answered this before, but I want to be a dragon because that would just be epic. Phoenix are cool, but dragons are cooler, I think. I mean, I suppose phoenixes are reborn, aren't they? But even so, I think dragons are cooler. So, dragon. I would like to be a dragon. I don't want to own a dragon. Maybe I do want to own a dragon, because then I could ride it. If it was a nice dragon, I don't know, now I'm torn. I don't know. Would you prefer to invent a secret language that you could share with whoever you choose, or have the ability to communicate telepathically but only with people with the same power? I would like a secret language. I remember when me and my sister were younger, we definitely had like not secret languages, but we liked to go around the supermarkets pretending we were talking another language, and actually it was complete gibberish. So we would have a whole conversation in gibberish, essentially, because it was just us making up words, and we would chat to each other like that for ages, so that was quite funny when we were younger. Tea and toast, jam optional, or coffee and cake? I don't like tea or coffee, so I would take toast and cake with jam on the toast. Is that an option? Because I don't drink hot drinks. I'm one of those weird people who doesn't like hot chocolate, doesn't like tea or coffee. I like the fruit coolers and stuff. I don't like milkshakes. I'm a bit picky when it comes to drinks, I've realised. Fizzy drinks I love, fruit juices I love, and squash is good. But milkshakes and hot drinks, no, not a fan of them. I would take the toast and the cake. His Dark Materials or Narnia. I've read them both. I think I prefer His Dark Materials. It is just really beautiful and I love the story, and I remember being quite emotional about that one. Whereas Narnia I read when I was a bit younger and I thought it was fun, but that was all it was to me. It wasn't really emotional. So yeah, definitely His Dark Materials is my favourite. Do you come from a family of readers, and have you always loved books? I have always loved books. Since I was really tiny, I've always enjoyed books. I've always loved kids' books, and I've always loved reading books to younger kids. So I've got a younger brother and a younger sister. My sister is only 2 years younger than me, so she's not that much younger, but my brother is 12 years younger than me, so he's a lot younger. So when he was a baby, I obviously read a lot of books to him as he was growing up. He's now 8, so we still do read books though. We still do. I started reading Harry Potter with him recently and it was amazing. I loved it. Then also my younger cousins, I always read books to them because I'm the oldest of all my cousins. Yeah, they do all read, just not as much as I do. My dad has a Kindle, so he reads on the tube and stuff, I think, when he's going to work. But yeah, I don't really know what he reads or anything. So I do kind of come from a family of readers. We definitely had like a bedtime story every night when I was younger and stuff like that. She also asks, do you have any pets? Yes, I do. Well, we have a family cat who is called Beauty, and she is just super cute. I'll put a picture up. I love her. She is a lap cat. She will jump on your lap. Doesn't matter who you are. She will snuggle up to you and she will fall asleep on your lap, because that is the sort of cat that she is, and she's very, very soft and she's very, very cute. Ellie Robson asks, do you read a lot of classics, and if so, what are your favourite ones, or which ones would you like to read? I have not read a lot of classics, which is probably bad, but I just have never been that interested in reading loads of them. I would like to read some more modern classics, sort of like Brave New World. I think it would be a really good one to read. I do own it. I have a few Charles Dickens books that I want to read because I do like Charles Dickens from what I've read. I've read Shakespeare, if that counts as a classic. Kind of, maybe, a classic play. So I've read a few classics, but I haven't read very many outside of school stuff, like stuff I had to read for school. I think I would like classics. I just don't really like sort of Jane Austen type classics. From what I've read of her stuff, I don't enjoy that style. I much prefer it to be more sci-fi fantasy classic, which you can find. So I will probably read more of the sci-fi and fantasy classics because I really need to get some older stuff into my reading again. I've been reading a lot of new stuff recently, which is great, but I want to get some of the older titles back into my reading as well, because I really enjoy reviewing and reading older books and sort of seeing how they compare to the modern day interpretations of sci-fi and fantasy. So yes, I do want to read more. I haven't read many. Okay, next I have some questions from Michael. Thank you, Michael, from Bitten by a Radioactive Book. And he says, what place in the world would you like to visit next? I have 2 places that I would love to visit. First of those is Japan. I would love to go to Japan and just sort of explore both the more Tokyo cityscape Japan and also the more rural side of it. I want to sort of see both, like the temples and the more landscape side of it, but also the really nice built up cities and that sort of thing. So I would love to go to Japan. The second one I would love to go to is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Oh, that would be amazing, because yeah, I love the sound of going to both of those. So those are my kind of 2 dream holiday destinations. Paul from A Come and Touch of Fantasy asked if my sister wrote the song at the beginning of my videos. Yes, indeed, she does write the song at the beginning of my videos. The sit back, relax, and maybe, that song that you always hear at the beginning and end. She wrote it, she composed the lyrics, and she wrote the music, so she plays the ukulele and I sing the actual song. So yes, my sister wrote that. She's very good at music stuff. She can play the piano, the ukulele, the guitar. She's very good at all of them. I can't play any of them particularly well, so yeah, she did that, and all the credit goes to her for that. How my boyfriend supports booktube, or me booktubing. No, he doesn't really. He doesn't help me edit or help me design videos. It's pretty much just my hobby. He doesn't really do anything booktube related unless we're sort of sitting together and I put on a booktube video and he will watch certain people. He's a bit picky with who he watches, so yeah, he doesn't really support it in terms of like telling me video ideas or helping me edit, but he definitely knows that I love doing it, and so that's good, and he supports that I love doing it. Paul also asks what a typical day at uni is like. So a typical day at uni is hard to describe because for me, my course is very open, which means that I don't actually have to be in uni a lot of the time. I get 2 days off a week. I have Monday and Wednesday off, and then Tuesday is tutorial, which means that I have to go in with the project that I'm currently working on, and I have to talk to my tutor and a few other people who are in my tutorial group, and we all sort of sit down and we all show what we've done, talk about the project, talk about how it's going, talk about what we could do to improve it. So that's usually what I do on a Tuesday. That's usually only an hour and a half, so I don't have to be in after that, but I can always go in and use the studios if I want to. They're always open, so I'm welcome to go there at any time. Thursday is then a lecture in the morning, so I always have a lecture on Thursday. Usually I also have dissertation on Thursday, which means that I go in and have a chat with my dissertation tutor about how my dissertation is going, what research I've been doing, and how it's all shaping up, what sections I'm going to be doing for it. And then again, I can use the studio after I finish that, but I don't have to. I can work from home a lot of the time, so a lot of the time I'm only in uni for a few hours a day, and then I'll come home and I'll work from home and I'll get all my work done here unless I need like the computers or the big printers, or if I'm using some sort of machinery that's at the uni, like the laser cutter, things like that. Obviously I'll spend the whole day in uni, but I don't have to. So it's kind of dependent on what project you're doing at the time. If you're just doing an illustration project, you can be working from home. If you're doing something large format, then you probably want to be in the studio so that you're not moving it around all the time and spilling stuff and things like that, and you've got more space in the studio. So it's kind of dependent on that. Friday is sign-up tutorials, so you can go in and you can talk to tutors, but equally there's a lecture in the morning of Friday. So yeah, it's quite open, my course. You can definitely work from home, or you can go into uni and you can work in there. It's very up to you. It's whatever works for you, so I love that. As long as I get all my work done, it doesn't really matter when or where, which is good. Do you spend a lot of time on Photoshop all day? Not really. I do tend to do a lot more hand-drawn stuff. I prefer doing hand-drawn because that's something that I'm a lot better at than I am digital. I do spend a lot of time on Photoshop, just generally sort of aligning things, but more so on Illustrator. Yeah, mostly Illustrator actually, because Photoshop is kind of final layouts, but Illustrator is a lot better for actually drawing digital stuff and making it look nice and making it all very, very pretty and prim and proper. So I definitely tend to spend more time on Illustrator and Photoshop than anything else. He then also asks whether I subvocalize, which I had to look up because I was like, what is subvocalizing? So apparently it's when you mutter the words as you read a book, which no, I don't do. I do actually know some people who do that, so now I know the proper term for it. That's good. But no, I don't do that at all. I sometimes think the words in my head. If I'm trying to read a book slower, I will consciously be reading every word in my head. Most of the time I just can read the words very quickly and take in a lot of information all at once and then retain the really important stuff. So I don't tend to vocalize it, I tend to just read it all in my head and love it. He says, have I got any tips for reading faster or reading more books? The shorter the book, the quicker you get through it, so that will definitely be a tip for reading more books. Graphic novels, really easy to get through, a bit more expensive, but really easy to get through. I would say audiobooks, if you can fit them into your day as you're wandering around, as you're walking places, as you're washing up, doing the tumble dryer, like any of those things, if you can listen to an audiobook whilst doing them is good. Or if you're on public transport, it's always great. I read at night. I think that a lot of people get really tired at night and so they don't read at night, they fall asleep. You can wake up early. I know that Elizabeth from Books and Pieces wakes up early so that she can read. I do the opposite, I stay up late so that I can read. So I'm happy to get like 5-6 hours sleep, maybe less than that if I'm reading a good book, and then just suffer through the next day and power on with energy drinks. I'm good to do that. But obviously not everyone is, so it's up to you how much you want to commit to a book and whether a book is really gripping you. If a book's really boring, it can take me ages to get through it. So I don't always read fast. It definitely depends on the book and whether or not it's going well and whether or not it's really boring. So sometimes I will whiz through a book. Robin Hobb will take me a lot longer because they are longer books and they're more dense, or Patrick Rothfuss, it will take longer. So it really depends on what you're reading how dense it is, how lyrical it is, and whether or not it matters that you take in the lyrical writing style or you just want the plot. It's totally random depending on that. So my advice would be audiobooks all the way, short books if you want to read more, graphic novels if you want to read more, and definitely just read all the time. Don't go out, don't see friends, don't do anything, just read, because that's how you read lots of books, and that's what I do. He also asked what made me go from reading lots of books to reading an absolute ton of books like I do now. I think just getting more passionate about it, dropping some of my other hobbies that I used to do, and moving away from home and away from a lot of my friends meant that I had more free time, so that just lent itself to more reading time. I see my boyfriends on the weekends, so during the week it's literally just me, that's it. So in the evenings I just tend to read. A lot of my friends from uni and stuff, they go out clubbing and they have a really good time in nightclubs. I don't really go clubbing, it's not a thing I really enjoy, so I just tend to read and I don't go for nights out, and I spend most of my money on books instead of clubbing, but that is a choice that I made because I love doing that, and it doesn't work for everyone, so it depends how much of a social life you want compared to a bookish life, and I definitely prefer books than socialising, unless it's my best friends, in which case I will always meet up with them, but luckily they both read as well, so that's fun. That is all of the questions. Thank you all so much for asking them and being lovely, lovely people. I hope that I answered some of your questions. If there are still some that I've not answered, then definitely leave them in the comments for me, and I will do another Q&A in the future. This has been really, really fun actually. I've had a great time doing this, so thank you all for your questions, thank you all for asking them, and I will see you all again soon in another video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little chat about the